TV girl. What did she ask?
She was talking about, we did a deep fake policy on AI, so she came she came looking for the superintendent. So I got to just talk to her on the side.
Yeah.
It has to
be very.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So is only the dome for freshmen or is that for?
Yeah, it's buzzer to buzzer. It's
Yeah, right.
gonna be hard on administrators.
For you this summer.
Very hard teachers.
I don't remember.
I think the
So
pocket
it-
looks pretty good.
All the freshmen go and sleep in the dome. They camp
see.
out.
See how it goes.
And it's renovated now, so it's.
But it's where they are right now.
Oh.
Yep, good chance.
Need some music, Tracy.
Yeah, no pressure.
That won't make Chris feel any pressure.
No problem. Because we'd rather get it right than get it fast. We just renovated the Pearson building. Very excited. Gonna try to get some administrators.
Every time I do this.
I can't do it. I just went to my basement, I just got warm water in it.
I was down by this.
I was looking at e-bikes. They're not cheap. No. My dad was taking out a small one. I mean. So,
Go to the bathroom. Thank you.
you always can.
I'm gonna go through then.
It didn't come out right, but it did come out. Yeah.
I always say I drink way too much coffee.
About in the evenings.
Jen, are you there yet?
Somebody said they were here, but I can't, I have no internet to get, I'm like, wait, you can hear us? And she said it. So she said she had access, but I can't verify that.
I have access to it.
So I created a separate
You guys can probably send it to the MVSD guest Wi-Fi.
Point
And then it'll just have a pop-up that you have to accept, like terms.
softball, like, or just the other coaches and stuff. Like, I'm wondering who's above Lisa.
It's
As far as
good
district
to me.
wide.
The link-
It's
but
Jeremy?
The link is, the link on the website is wrong.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Is it?
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
So that guy, that was supposed to retire 40 minutes.
Same thing happened last month.
Can't remember what.
Hmm.
As soon as we went up to non-public, trying to come back was an issue.
Dig deep into.
Okay, so they said Hawaii was good this week, they can hear us, but the link is wrong, so they must have gone to the YouTube site.
Yeah, I can.
This cost doesn't change.
All right, that's what I'm doing. For session 2, yeah, all right. All right, sounds good.
So Jen, they went to YouTube and YouTube was working?
Yeah, I think that must be.
But if the link's not working from the website, then some people wouldn't be able to get there, so. Hello, everybody, so. Yeah, for that first one.
All right, we're good.
Okay. We are good. So,
Here.
how are we gonna echo? So I would like to entertain a motion to allow out-of-district student to attend Salisbury Elementary School at a tuition rate of $20,663.91, and transportation will be the responsibility of the parents. We would treat this as we treat all best interest placements, so it would require an email notifying us each year if that student will be coming or not. And the tuition is set by the DOE 25 per pupil expenditure.
Second.
So moved by Sally, seconded by Julia. Thank you very much. Any questions, any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Caitlin, thank you. I would entertain a motion to accept the nomination of an administrator.
So moved.
Not moved by Jesse,
Second.
seconded by David. Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion to accept the nomination of the administrator, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Excellent. I would, not him. Not him, not yet. You were premature. I would entertain a motion to waive the retirement notification deadline.
So moved.
Moved by Laura, seconded by Lorna. Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Perfect. I would entertain a motion to appoint Sean St. Ange as the new principal of Merrimack Valley High School as of July 1st, 2025. Julia? No, Stacy? That's okay. Any discussion? We can talk about him, he's right there. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, Sean. Now you can congratulate him. Okay. Okay, next on the agenda is the student representative report.
Here I am. Alrighty. So we are in June, so stuff starts to come to a close. So there's not much for me to report about. First off, there will be a all alumni reunion festival on June 28th from 1 to 5 p.m. at the MVHS Athletics Stadium. I just want to point that out. The flyer and also a video can be found on the high school website. So that's something cool that's coming up for anyone that's graduated from MVHS or PHS. Loudon Elementary School is running a health and wellness fair this Friday, June 6th from 2:30 to 7 o'clock. So it'll start with the students being able to walk around the wellness fair, and then everyone's welcome to that event in the evening. In the gymnasium, there's going to be stuff like free health screenings, free mini karate classes, free bike helmet fittings. There's going to be a lot of police department and fire department, a lot of recreation, river bend, all sorts of different resources will be there to kind of show the community. So I think it's something really cool that Loudon Elementary School has started for this year. The MVMS Gardening Club will host a plant sale on June 4th. That is this upcoming Wednesday from 2:30 to 4:30. They had done one a few weeks ago, and now they are doing another one. So I'm assuming that will be at their greenhouse by the middle school over by the game field. June 13th is the middle school Pride Night, so pretty much their the 8th grade move-up night as they get ready for their transition to high school. The high school band and chorus participated at Trills and Thrills at Hershey Park, Pennsylvania last Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The chorus got the highest score available, earning a superior score, and band got excellent. So that's the one right below that. They were an 89 out of 100. A 90 would have been superior. So we were 1 point away from superior for both our band and chorus. And then the middle school band and chorus will participate in the same festival, but at Kennedy Lake Park this Friday. And then, of course, graduation is this Saturday, June 7th. So we invite you all to be there to support our seniors. And then I have some jokes. Why doesn't the sun trust umbrellas? Because they're so shady. And then why did the scientist wear so much sunscreen? Because she was a paleontologist. And then Lorna got me a bunch of jokes here for when I run out in the future. So I'm ready.
Thanks, Lorna.
And they're just as corny.
Thank you, Nick. Any questions for Nick? Next, committee reports. The curriculum committee met on May 19th. The minutes are in the board packet for you to review. You probably already looked at them. And Catherine.
Sally, did you want to take this or?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. No,
No,
that's,
I, having not been at the
that's right.
previous
I
board
apologize.
meeting, I missed the memo on the shift in time, so
Yeah, I
I thought I was
apologize.
early. I was actually 25 minutes late. So
So at our most recent curriculum committee meeting, we reviewed the new unified arts plan that will be put into place at the elementary level. It's taking the place of what was the world language program there. Our school counselors will be delivering their in-class lessons during what was previously the World Language UA. Our school counselors already push into our classrooms for lessons, but this will, to do that during that very specific time will allow us to fill the gap that was created by the elimination of the World Language program. And so our counselors are going to be working this summer on curriculum, a curriculum framework. They actually, because they are already doing this in their buildings, that they have quite a lot to build off of. We're just making sure we're working towards continuity of experience between each of our buildings, but also recognizing that the content that they deliver may be building or even classroom specific based on the needs of the individuals in that room, as is already their practice. And then we were fortunate to have Becky Kennedy with us to review the different diploma pathways that are accessible at the high school. And she talked about the benefits of those options. Any questions related to the curriculum committee?
Okay, the policy committee also met on May 19th, and the minutes are there. And Catherine, and we will have some action to take. Catherine will tell us.
Sure. So at this committee, we continued our work on policy AC, which you have already seen once this year, and now you're seeing again. And it's in response to legislation. So you have both the current and updated policies available to you. And we are bringing those forward for a first read. And then the new business that policy committee began and will continue to work on at our next meeting is related to public comment. And we are working to devise a process that we would bring before the board for feedback and approval, of course, to address constituent concerns about the lack of response to public comment. And so we are going to continue that work at our next meeting. We're also going to continue our work on the AC related policies that go along with Title IX that we have already reviewed and updated this year, but now with updated legislation need to go back and continue to do that. So in our next meeting will be on Monday, June 16th at 5:30.
At SAU.
Yes, at the SAU.
Is there anything? It says in my notes that some action is requested, but we are not.
I don't think it is though, because
Okay.
it's first, I think we're at a first read. So if you
Okay.
can take a look at that policy and send any feedback or suggestions to myself or Melissa, the chair, that would be appreciated.
Thank you. Transportation Committee met prior to this at 5:30 this evening. There are no minutes yet. They will be in next month, but Laura can report
Summarize it.
now, and we can all, and Catherine can also let you know what sorts of things happen.
We had quite a discussion. One thing we did make, have a recommendation to the board that we asked the board to approve that, talking about disposal of vehicles, of buses, and that we authorize the board to dispose of buses, either disposing of them and stripping them and disposing of them, or there are maybe some interest in people buying them. So either way, we have a motion either way to do that. That will bring to the board. And should we do that now and then finish talking about the other stuff?
So
Okay.
we need a motion that we would approve the sale of buses as either scrap or for sale. And we'll put that out there.
I was gonna say, so moved.
Jess? Hold on.
Seconded.
Thank you, Jess and Lorna.
I just wanted to add, we already do the scrapping of buses, so we strip them and we scrap them for whatever we can get for the metal. What this slight change in practice would be is that we've had some folks reach out to purchase them. So if that will beat the scrap price, we may as well get a few more dollars if someone wants to do that and haul them away.
I think you kind of just answered the question I was going to ask. I assume that it's going to be best price is what you guys are going to go with. Okay.
Any other questions about the motion?
Did this just come up because you got approached by somebody? Okay.
All those in favor of the motion to approve the sale of buses either as scrap or for sale, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thanks.
Okay, and then at the meeting, we didn't have anything else to recommend, but we did talk about the current challenges. We're still short of bus drivers. We're still we've had to cancel some busing at the last minute. Because we didn't have enough bus drivers. We're still looking for bus drivers, even though we were able to lure a couple of people in as bus drivers. Other bus drivers are gone now. And so we're still short, and we don't know what it'll be like going into the fall. And we talked about having kids walk to school, a walk zone in Pinnacook of 1.5 miles, and what that would be like. Everyone is hesitant to go with that. And right now we would need more crosswalks, crossing guards, and some of those things. So we did make a definite decision about that. We're going to meet again before the August board meeting. And we'll also continue to look at other options. And I guess we asked Catherine and Noel to look into how much, if we had to contract out a bus route, how much, what the price would be, or if that's even a possibility. So we'll be meeting again. We just said Catherine's going to email us about the July meeting. And we still only have 4 people on the transportation committee. Melissa was able to be here tonight. Oh, is that, I don't know. I'm wondering who the other person would be. Okay, so that's my report.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions for Laura? No old business.
Can I talk on committees in general, please?
Sure.
Thank you. So this is trying to figure out how to word this. I don't want to offend anybody, and I'm just a little concerned, and I'm going to talk to what was said today in public. I'm concerned about how we transition committee memberships from when somebody resigns to filling it in with a person who comes. So I know the person was appointed, and the person was appointed between the April and May meeting. And this may come across like I'm like questioning you, Tracy, and I'm not doing that, because you said that at the meeting in May and I didn't comment on it, and I didn't have conversation on it. And I could have, and I didn't. So I went back and I looked at policy, and I looked at kind of my gut. And my concern is, and I'm going to go back to what we've heard from the community, is us as a board, that there's trust factors, there's transparency pieces. And I will tell you that there's nothing more I want than to pass an operating budget in March and pass a competitive 3-year contract for our teachers. But if we don't build that trust, and if we don't do things transparently, the likelihood of that happening becomes less and less. And I just want to make sure that us as a board, that we're doing things in public when we should. That was the business of the board. the organizational meeting. We sat here and we went through all the committees and we took volunteers and we had conversation. And it didn't happen. And I'm not sure, I'm not sure why one committee was changed and not the others. And I do question the policy, BBAB, if we follow the policy. And I just want to make sure that as a board, that we are doing the business of the district in public, and that, we are following policy. So I'm not sure about the policy. I know that we've heard differently. I read it that they should have been done in there should have been if someone's being appointed, that there should be approval of the full board. We didn't do that. So I'm just bringing it up for discussion that maybe we need language in our policy about when somebody resigns and how we do it. But I just think that Amanda should have had the opportunity to either yay or nay any of the policy, any of the committees that were left vacant by Danny.
Thank you. I can say that Tom has emailed me a number of times about this issue, and I have done my due diligence. I felt that by letting the board know that I had made the appointment, that I was being transparent. Tom questioned that, so I checked with the New Hampshire School Boards Association. Barrett Christina, who is the executive director of the New Hampshire School Boards Association, to make sure that I had followed what I was within my rights. And he wrote back to me and said that, yes, I could do that, that it was within my right as the board chair to appoint school board members, to appoint committee members after he looked through our board policies. So that's my response. Anybody else? Jesse?
Like, point of order, this is technically not on the agenda, and by our policies, we're supposed to vote to discuss this openly amongst each other. So I would either say, I suggest that we either have a motion to vote, a motion to make this a discussion right now, or stop, because it's not by our policy. Like, the public wasn't noticed, the board wasn't noticed, so, that would be the next step.
Thank you.
If we're going to do that.
Thank you.
We gonna do it?
There needs to be a motion.
I make a motion that we talk about procedures for appointing board members to committees.
I think, thank you, David. That's the motion. I'm wondering if that's a policy committee, something that should come before the policy committee. If you want to talk about appointing members, you said that you wanted to change the policy, how we look at it. So I don't know.
I would also like.
So, well, let's vote on this. It's the motion is to discuss changes to appointing committee members. Yes? No?
Not changes, to discuss the current situation that we have.
Okay. The motion is to discuss, I'm not sure what the current situation is, but I thought that I had. Okay, so the motion discussing this current situation and seconded by David. All those in, any other discussion?
Yeah, this is really unclear. Like, this current situation, can we have an actual, discussing, bringing before policy committee, changing our policy? Something more in line other than just an amalgamation of no direction would be great. I'm not ready to vote yes on anything until we have a solid, what is it?
So do you want to,
Yeah, I need my AI to word this for me. So I make a motion that we take the opportunity to add an agenda item to talk about the replacement of, or the filling of the vacated committees, positions, as was done in April and May.
Are you asking that we do this and add the agenda item this evening or for our next meeting?
Right now. Yep. I
So,
don't think we meet again until August, formally.
So if we're opening up for discussion, I'm not comfortable until I guess review some more of these policies. I'm pretty familiar with it. So, I mean, I'm kind of a no vote until we have time to look things over or hear what was said by NHSBA. So I'm just a no vote. And we have other things that need to be discussed tonight, and this could be discussed in April or, I'm sorry, August, or we could also just you could email policy to have a discussion about how we, look at these kinds of policies. But yeah, that's how I feel about it right now.
any other discussion?
Tracy?
Jesse? I'm sorry,
Stacy.
Stacy. Jesse was there,
I'm
Stacy's there.
confused, so I'm hearing. Yep, sorry. I'm confused because I'm hearing that we're not within the policy for you to make that, but I'm hearing we are within policy. So can you clarify that was within our policy to make that appointment?
So I checked with the New Hampshire School Boards Association that gives us, not gives us our policies, but gives us our, what's the word? I'm looking for?
Recommendation.
Recommendations, guidance on policies. And we sometimes take them, we sometimes make them our own. So what I asked him to do was, the executive director is Barrett Christina. What I asked him to do was to please look through our policies and tell me if I was correct in appointing Laura or not correct in appointing Laura. And let me just say that just a little bit. And when I talked about appointing in the last meeting, when I talked about appointing Laura, I talked about the fact that we would have 3 new members on the finance committee. Tom would have been one. Julia would have been a new member. She wasn't on it last year. And Amanda would have been if she just slid right in. So, and also last year, Melissa was on the committee, and she is again this year, but she was only able to attend. It was her first year last year. She was only able to attend 2 meetings last year. So I felt that the need for somebody with experience was what was needed, and that's why I appointed Laura. So,
Okay.
so I
just needed
did,
to clarify.
but I
Yeah,
did check. I didn't just make the decision. I
right.
mean, I did make the decision, but then when Tom questioned me, I checked to make sure that it was the right thing to do.
And if my memory serves me correctly, we've done this before. It was before I was on the,
We have
Board.
done it a couple of
Yeah.
times.
okay.
It's,
So I guess I'm,
there's no, as Tom said, there's no real policy that talks about replacing members who have resigned. So I think it's different. Sometimes they just slide in, sometimes they don't.
so the problem is, Tom, you're not happy with the appointment. And so you want
No,
to
I-
revisit
yeah,
the
I-
policy to
I-
potentially change it.
I question if we followed policy and procedure. So
But it sounds
when
like we
no,
did.
I don't have a problem with any people, and I don't have a problem with the committee. I just want to make sure we are following policy as a board, because what the policy reads is in the duties of the chairperson shall appoint members to serve on specific committees subject.
Point of order, we're discussing the thing that we said we weren't going to
Okay.
discuss until we
Sorry.
voted.
Till we voted. It's my fault, sorry. So the motion is, will we,
I was answering a question.
I know, and it was my fault,
Half of
Tom.
it can- well, okay.
We will vote, will we discuss this or not discuss this? So the motion is to discuss this issue or not discuss this issue. As long as it's not about the issue, it's about the motion.
Can I make an amendment to the motion?
You didn't make the motion.
You didn't make the motion. Tom did.
Can I recommend a friendly amendment?
You can ask Tom.
Tom, would you be open to, since none of us have the policy in front of us, can we discuss it on the June 16th policy meeting? Because that's not in August, that's like in 2 weeks, a week, 2 weeks. Would you be open to that?
I'm open to that.
Okay, that way we all have the
Well-
policy in front of
Well,
us.
let me just make sure I can attend the meeting. June 16th, what time?
5:30.
I can be there. Fine. We don't need motion now. We'll talk about it. So
Okay.
It'll be an agenda item then, Catherine?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a note, if I may, real quickly, Tracy, I really appreciate the explanation for that. It certainly makes, my perspective makes all the sense in the world.
Thank you. So we're having no old business. We'll move on to new business. The data governance, did I say data? Sorry. The data governance manual is in the packet. Is that you
Do you
or?
want me to do this?
I was ready for it, that way.
So the data governance manual is something that we bring to the board annually for changes. So you'll notice that, it has a different year on the cover. That's because after this vote to accept, and it's really, we make changes. It's a living document. As we get updated, cybersecurity changes. We have the tech department. We had the changeover in the tech department this past year. So they've really been digging in, and it's really just a manual that it governs how we look at data and cybersecurity and all of those things. And really, it's something so that we keep it in the forefront of discussion. And I don't know, did you want to talk about any of the changes, or it's really just a vote that they have it?
Yeah, it is something that we just have to approve annually. It does have some updates that need to happen. Our tech director has now been in place for a year. And while she actually has a pretty busy start to summer planned, I think we have the intention to get together around this manual and to make some updates that will be reflected in future versions that you see.
Any questions for Randy or for Catherine about the data governance manual? Thank you. Sally?
Sorry, so it's going to require that I call up a document. So I have concerns about the widespread use of apps various and sundry. I mean, we've been in this world for a while now, but I'm concerned about the fact that, for instance, and the concussion testing software, Sway, has the following in their policy. And I will say that I'm a civilian, more or less, when it comes to tech stuff. But anyway, so it says regarding the transfer of your personal information. And again, this is from the policy for the concussion testing software that we use called Sway. Your information, including personal information, is processed at Sway's operating offices and in their places where the parties involved in the processing are located. This means that this information may be transferred to and maintained on computers located outside of your state, province, country, or other governmental jurisdiction where the data protection laws may differ than those from your jurisdiction. Your consent to this privacy policy, followed by your submission of such information, represents your agreement to that transfer. So, I'm quite sure that in most, terms of agreement, that kind of statement is embedded within it. But I'm just concerned. I know that, I think it's all 50 states have laws regarding the disaggregation of personally identifiable information, particularly where students are concerned. Are there workarounds for parents, students, families who are not comfortable having their child, must they use this concussion testing software, for instance, or, what are the alternatives? We're living in a world right now where we're hearing horror stories about what's happening to Americans' information, within, the country. So on the one hand, yes, this is we now live in the world of tech and software and data and all that, but we're also becoming increasingly aware of the perils. So I guess I'm just wondering how do we manage those perils, as the small but mighty institution that we are.
So you used a very specific example. And I don't know whether Sway signed the data privacy agreement, which is typically required, which would make that null and void, the paper that you were reading off of, if they wanted to be, part of so we have pieces of software that won't sign the data privacy agreement, and when they don't sign, we don't use them. So I'd have to look into that particular one. As far as the concussion protocol, because that's software based, I don't know of another alternative. That's a fairly recent thing within the last 8 years or so that we have been doing the concussion protocols. I can't answer that specifically, but.
Well, and it just, I use that as an example. We can have a conversation about concussion protocols and that, separately, but just these are the kinds of terms that we're all agreeing to when we, we all as a school board, and then, the families whose, students are entrusted to our care, are using this stuff. And I mean, my kids too. I don't know how we get out from under it.
Right. I don't know how we get out from under it either, but Catherine did say that, yes, they did sign it.
They did sign that they disaggregating.
They signed the data privacy agreement for the state of New Hampshire that we require.
So I assume if we require it, then it's not in the data governance. So it's not something that we use. If we require that, so we don't use the ones that don't sign the data privacy. Okay.
I mean, sorry, one last thing. I mean, one of the reasons why I'm asking is because, I'm still learning how to understand all this stuff. And I feel as though I can't be the only one who is in the process of, trying to understand all of these things.
No,
and so I just thought it would be worthwhile to maybe.
I totally
have some insight.
understand.
Okay.
Totally. Yes, just recently somebody put me on a Signal group, and I was like, no, I don't want that. Oh God forbid, Mike headsets might show up. Sorry. So, yes, Jess?
I just have two general questions. Who counts as what is it called? Data manager, what do they call it in here?
Governance.
The data managers, exactly. Is it like the IT staff in total?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And do we only adhere to, I'd say, yearly audits, or is there, because this one I think it detailed only yearly, but is it just yearly, or is there more for us?
Audits specific
Audits
to
of, let's just say,
digital security.
We'll say auditing LDAP. Excuse me. Sorry, auditing
civilian too.
user accounts. Sorry about that. Who's still here? Who's left? Who, like that kind of audit process, is that like a once a year thing, or is that like?
No, that's ongoing. So
Ongoing?
the
Okay, good.
onboarding and offboarding, the changing of the OUs, the organizational units that things are broken down into. We do phishing training,
Mhm.
penetration testing. Those are all things that are just part of what IT does. You may recall we had the Adam Group come in
Mhm.
a year and a half ago, and they're the cybersecurity experts. They handle the things at the state level,
Mhm.
and I assume that's something that we would probably want to do as a district periodically,
Regularly, yeah.
to have them come in because they can point out, how to tighten things up and to minimize the risk of a cybersecurity incident.
I appreciate that, because I read it and I read it as only yearly, and I went, ooh. So thank you.
Any more questions? I need a motion to accept the data governance manual.
So moved.
Moved by Julia, seconded by Stacy. Thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okey doke. Next, personnel update, Kathleen.
So in your, oh, sorry.
In the packet are two notices of retirement, one from Mike McIntyre, who has been a buildings and grounds person for us since 2009. And the other one is an 8th grade math teacher from the middle school, Mark Magoon. We have replaced the middle school math teacher. Grounds, not yet, working on it, but we have replaced the middle school math.
Thank you. Okay, so there was a list of the 2025, 2026 board meetings in the packet. One thing that I want to remind everybody about is there is no July board meeting. There is the meeting on July 21st. I'm not sure yet, only because it hasn't been finalized with New Hampshire School Board Association. It's a non-meeting, and it will be either at 5:30 or 6. And that is with the New Hampshire School Boards Association for the school board. Okay. Next is lunch prices. Catherine?
All right, so we talked about this earlier this year, and I wanted to bring it up again because we are going to need to address it and make a decision at the August board meeting so that we can establish prices for our lunches going into the school year. That's something administrators are going to be looking for to make sure they are able to communicate effectively to families and print in handbooks. So as you may recall, or for those of you who are new to the board, I can share this as new information. Our food service director, Wendy LeClaire, uses annually the paid lunch equity tool to calculate recommended lunch price increases. This is something that is used in all schools around the state. It's a tool that's provided to us. Currently, we charge $1.65 for breakfast at all levels, and for lunch, we charge $2.50 at the elementary, $3 at the middle school, and $3.25 at the high school. What the PLE tool expected the average cost per lunch served in our kitchens to be this year was $4.52. We are currently reimbursed from the federal government at a rate of 9 cents for full pay students and $4.12 for a reduced pay student, and the full rate for students that qualify for free lunch. So the situation that we have is that we have a gap between the money that we bring in for those full pay students and what our meals are costing us on the average. So we would be asking that the board consider raising prices for lunches, 25, potentially as high as 50 cents. We have to raise them by at least 10 cents. We're going to have a minimum amount that we have to raise them by. And that comes from CFR. I'm going to have to, I tried to remember what it was, Code of Federal Regulations that is going to necessitate that we do that. But I just wanted to sort of put this on your radar because I know that this is certainly an area of concern that we have. We want to make sure that we are feeding our students. In this case, we're talking specifically about our students that pay for their meals. But the end result of this gap in prices is that we have an amount of money that we have to bail out the food service department for annually because they have to finish the year in the black. So I believe that number currently this year is $127,000.
Of unpaid.
This isn't unpaid. This isn't about like kids not paying. This is the difference between what it costs us to produce these meals and what we're charging.
And that difference is 127,000. Yeah.
Yes.
So far.
Just right there, so far.
Can you tell me again the reimbursement from the federal government? The full pay reimbursement is,
9 cents.
that's what I thought you said, and I was like, that can't be true, but 9 cents. Okay. And those students who qualify for free and reduced, we get the full,
Full for free, $4.12 for reduced.
okay, thanks.
Does the threshold go up for children, incomes for children who receive free and reduced lunch with these increases to?
If they qualify for free and reduced, they will continue to pay at the rate established by the federal government, regardless of what our price is.
Okay.
Any other questions for Catherine?
If they set the pricing, it's for the whole school year. They don't change, they can't change it.
So the board actually is the group that's going to make that determination. And yes, you certainly can make changes throughout the year. So if you wanted to do sort of a graduated increase, that's an option that we could consider.
We have,
And-
sorry.
No, that's okay. And the PLE tool is released annually. So the numbers that I'm sharing with you right now are based on the tool for this year. That algorithm will be updated and we will have a new, that number will change, hopefully only slightly, for the following year.
And we have done that before, Lorna, where we've graduated it. So we've done 25 cents and then 25 more cents later in the year or something along those lines. Jess?
Sorry, I have the elementary lunch prices up here just to look at it, but we raised this the last time in what, 22? Do you remember what year? Because it's been a few years.
Been a few years. I don't
I'm
recall.
trying to remember how long ago it was.
I believe it was at least 3 years ago because
22 or 21.
the price is supposed to increase by a minimum of 10 cents annually. Unless you choose to make an increase that's large. For example, if you made a 20-cent increase, then we're covered for 2 years. But I actually believe at this point, it's been 3 years at least since we've increased the lunch prices.
Yes, and recalling the reasoning for that was, understandable. If I'm remembering correctly, the general idea was that we didn't, we've held off for a little while as to not pressure families who are experiencing financial squeezes. But it's been a few years. So
Yes.
I don't like the idea of raising lunch prices, but I mean.
Any other questions about lunch? That will come up in August. And will we hear from Wendy in August?
Either Wendy or I will share the
Okay.
information that Wendy has
Thanks.
related to the PLE.
Or Sam?
Sam, yes, that's right. That's exactly who you're going to hear from about food service.
Thank you. Okay, next is manifests and journal entries. I can attest to the fact that I signed them electronically and Melissa did also. Randy can attest to that. So I need a motion to approve manifests and journal entries.
So moved.
Moved by Jess, seconded by Julia. Any questions about the manifests and journal entries? All those in favor of the manifest and journal entries, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Excellent. Next, it's a board chairperson's report. I was lucky enough to be able to attend the retirement tea, and it was wonderful. They were so appreciative of the retirement being recognized. Also, I need to say that the MBSD music, what was on the front of our board packet, I have heard from, as you know, I spend a lot of time at the State House, and there's a group of grandparents that have students that attend our schools, and they are always talking about how wonderful our music program is and how fabulous that just the great time that they have, that their grandchildren are having. So kudos to the music department. Assistant Superintendent report.
Sure. So it's certainly an exciting time in our schools. The end of the year is coming quickly, which means there are a lot of celebrations and recognitions for our students and our faculty that are not going to be returning, whether it's field trips or senior walks or any number of celebrations that are happening. It's an exciting time. So if you have an opportunity, I know that you receive the newsletters from the schools, so I would encourage you to consider checking some of those out. The senior walks in particular are probably my most favorite event of the year. The elementary school faculty love seeing their seniors return to them. It's a full circle moment for sure. And then I had one other piece that I wanted to share. So Governor Kelly Ayotte issued a proclamation identifying May as Early College Month in New Hampshire. Through its early college program, the community college system provides opportunities for high school students to earn college credit. And we've talked about that a little bit, and more so probably at the curriculum committee, I guess, in saying that. So at a State House event, the community college program and the governor recognized 7 educators as early college advocates for the work that they do to promote these opportunities to our students. And Mark Shimataro, our very own Mark Shimataro and VHS school counselor, was one of the 7 that was recognized for his efforts to engage students in the early college program. So thank you to Mark for doing that for our students.
Before I send it over to you, can I say one more thing? I'm sorry. My board chairperson report, I also got to attend, I was invited to attend the NHTI graduation. So I just wanted to put that out there. It was a wonderful, wonderful thing. They had over 300 graduates. That was just so wonderful to have that in our backyard. Thanks.
All right, so since we are talking about transitions and all of this, I'll hit a couple of the ones that I got to be part of over this, these last couple of weeks. Certainly a lot of change went to the CRTC graduation, where we have a very large number of students who attend the CRTC program. And it was one of my favorite things about that night was the way that the kids celebrated their teachers. They were just, when the teachers walked down, it was just like this really big, celebration of their teachers because of the nature of the hands-on and the close connection that they get to make with those. That's a great event. This past Saturday, I got to introduce the Spring Scramble. That's the robotics, first robotics teams come here and they do this scramble that we've been hosting for the last few years. And that's another great event where people come from all over the state. They love our facilities. They talk about how great things are. And they wanted me to extend my thanks to all of you for allowing them to use this facility. And it's great, the problem solving and the hands-on approach that's required for those robotics programs is great. And they have the little kids doing the Legos all the way up to the first robotics teams, which is really impressive, both to see what the kids can do with the Lego side of things, all the way up to some, incredible coding that the kids do for their larger robots. So happy to be part of that. Catherine mentioned the senior walk today for the first, I imagine is going to be an annual thing because they've always done the senior walks at the elementary schools. Today, they had all of the undergraduate, underclassmen rather. We're not quite at college yet. The underclassmen came out in the hallways and the seniors did a loop around the upstairs and then the downstairs. And it was great to see. So all of the underclassmen were just cheering on the seniors as they were then walking out the front door as they finished their final day. And I'm really looking forward as well on Friday at 2:00 for the senior walk where they go back to their elementary school. I got to do it a few years ago when my oldest son went back to Salisbury, and now I'll get to do it again on Friday where my youngest will walk. And now because we have such long tenured teachers, a number of those teachers are the same ones. So he's taller than them now, but just to be able to walk around in that celebration, the kids go nuts. The kids at the school. Last year I got to go to Pennacook's, and it's a lot of fun, and it just get one of those goosebump moments. So I definitely like that. They do not. So that's it. Just happy stuff.
Thank you very much. So we come to public comment.
Kathleen.
I have some left.
Louise Andrews, Salisbury. I hope in the future, the school district will make sure when there is meetings and they're live streamed, that if something happens and it doesn't come through audio, especially audio, that you stop the meeting and fix it. And this is why. A month ago, I wanted to come to the meeting because they're going to talk about the Washington Street School. I had to be in 2 places at once, which is really impossible. So I chose the other meeting I needed to go to. And so I went online and the whole meeting was gobbled and you couldn't even tell what was going on. It was very disappointing because I had read the minutes, and I mean, the minutes are brief. You don't get to really know what's going on unless you hear the conversation. So I'm hoping in the future that we can tweak and make sure that the live stream is so everybody can hear it. Which brings it to Washington Street School. Almost 2 years ago, and I'm going to look up the information, I haven't had time to. Fred Reagan was very adamant that something had to be done about Washington Street School. We didn't know if we wanted to sell it. We didn't know if we wanted to put money into bringing it up to date or what we really wanted to do. The subject was really dropped until back in the winter when I asked about the report, study on Washington Street School. There was no report. The only thing I got, it was just a bunch of figures. What did we spend a lot of money for? Another thing, I wish the school board would have a discussion about the Washington Street School long term. Down the road someday, we're going to have to do something with that school. Can we bring the kids back here? What can we do with it? What I would really like to see, which you can talk amongst yourselves, I would love to see a committee of school board members and public members and come up with some solutions and suggestions of what we can do. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Thank you. Pat Pike from Pennacook. This is two things Louise and I are agreeing on. And I'll volunteer to be a public member if you invite public members to be on that. If you create some kind of a study committee, I'd be more than happy to volunteer for that.
Thank you, Pat.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Bill Hines, Bosquen.
I'm just going to call your attention again to the Articles of Agreement and noting that you've set the meeting dates for your ensuing year and remind you that they should happen, some of them, at each of the individual schools. It's pretty clearly written in the Articles of Agreement. I know the reason it's been given before is because of the difficulty with the audio, which kind of flies a little bit in the face of what some of the other people have spoken about. I realize it's hard and it costs money probably, as we've seen this year, but I just can't say that all the, maybe I don't value the video because
You're here.
I'm here, right. But I do value stepping foot in those buildings. And, you know, if you want to upgrade them or keep them up to date, these eyes have to see that. So that, I think, is probably one of the primary reasons that that's written into the Articles of Agreement.
Thank you,
I
Bill.
got nothing else.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Jen Mercer Loudon. I just want to follow up on my earlier comments and Tom's concerns as well. I just want to point out that at the policy meeting on June 16th will not include the entire board. So I read the policy and I think it's pretty clear that it says that, I know you checked in with it, but it says the chair appoints and then the board approves. So despite what legal tells you, it's clear to me the board needs to approve the committee member appointments. And that was not done with the recent switch. I understand your concerns with there being too many new members, but I also want to point out that with a $2 million overrun, perhaps a fresh set of eyes is necessary for next year. And then with Tom's experience as the assistant superintendent in Bedford, I don't think he's new to finance. So I think that maybe that's not that good of an argument for that.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I get to use this time. I wasn't able to complete my thoughts, so I'll use my public comment to complete them. So first of all, I want to make sure that for you to understand, I am a process guy. And I think you've heard that in some of the other things we've done. So the policy to me doesn't matter. It could be a different policy. I don't think Tracy had any malintent whatsoever. And I think that Laura could do an excellent job on it. So it has nothing to do with people. I just think it has to do with policy. And in 6.5 months, it has to do with process. I apologize. In 6.5 months, we're going to go to a public hearing and present the budget. And we're going to present a contract, hopefully a 3-year contract for the teachers. We just got to make sure that as a board, that we are doing the business of the district in front of people, even if we have to err on the side of caution. And I agree, to answer your question, I didn't get a chance to finish. What policy BBAB says is the chairperson shall appoint members to serve on specific committees subject to full board approval. And we didn't do that. And that's where I think that we fell short as a board. As a board, we fell short. So I just want to make sure that we are doing things that builds trust, that builds confidence, so that when we go and ask the community to support approximately $50 million for an operating budget and a competitive teacher contract, that they're going to say, I trust those people and I am going to support them. And I think it is the most important thing that we have to do as a school board this year, is get all the people that came up and said, you're not transparent and I don't trust you, to change that. That to me is the most important things. And if we can do that, we have a really good shot at both of those things happening. That's it.
Thank you. Any other public comment? I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Oh, wait, did somebody have a?
I was gonna comment, but you know what? I think I will just
Okay.
let it be.
The motion has been made to adjourn, so we're adjourned. Thanks.